Everybody, today we're going to talk about 5 ways you can earn more airdrops in the Cosmos ecosystem. If you haven't followed our earlier Cosmos ecosystem tutorial, I suggest you go check that out because it is definitely worthwhile. The Cosmos ecosystem has plenty of airdrops to be farmed, and just doing the basics can make you eligible for many. That being said, in today's tutorial, we're going to talk about how you can earn more than just the basics. You know, there's a lot of people out there showing you how to do the basic airdrops for Cosmos, but you want to stand out from the crowd. With so many people trying to farm the ecosystem airdrops within Cosmos, you want your wallet, you want yourself to stand out so that you can potentially earn maybe as much as 10 times the airdrop value as someone just doing the basics. Plus, what we're going to be doing is trying to guarantee that we are eligible for as many airdrops as possible. So we are going to be looking at trying to farm at least another 10 airdrops in this video. So on top of doing the basics and getting whatever airdrops we might, we're going to be strategically pursuing specific airdrops so that we can get bigger airdrop values. That being said, I'm Aussie, and I'm here to teach you all about airdrops and how to make the most out of this 2024 crypto bull run with your portfolio. If you like that kind of content, please drop a like, subscribe, a comment. It makes a world difference for me, encourages me to keep making these videos for you, and it helps boost the videos in the YouTube algorithm. So I would really appreciate it. Now that we've gone through that, let's look at the 5 different ways we can boost our ecosystem airdrop yields. Number 1 is staking more tokens and a greater variety of tokens. We'll dive deeper into what that means later on in the video, but we're going to be looking at how to increase our position size and what other tokens we should be staking to earn more yield. Number 2 is we're going to be diving in to the Injective ecosystem. The Injective ecosystem has already gotten a whole bunch of hype, but there's so many airdrops that people aren't paying attention to. Most people are just doing the basics. So if we want to stand out and earn more than just the basics, we're going to go and specifically farm certain things within the Injective ecosystem. Number 3 is interactions within the Celestia ecosystem. Everybody's talking about all of the Celestia airdrops they're getting. Well, what if I can tell you we're going to try and go specifically farm 3, but potentially get so much more and boost our yield on others? That is incredible and super important when we are competing against so many other people for airdrops. In Cosmos, you are still competing, not necessarily at the same level, but by doing more, you might hit more criteria, which then get you a bigger airdrop. So doing more is always better. Number 4 has to do with the Quasar ecosystem. It's one of the blockchains within the Cosmos ecosystem, and there are several airdrops to be farmed there using Celestia, Quasar, and other tokens. And then number 5, it's all about providing liquidity. We're specifically going to be looking at providing liquidity on Osmosis, but you might also want to explore other ecosystems. Now that covers the basics. Those are the 5 things we're going to do. So follow along in the rest of the tutorial so that you can see exactly what I'm doing in each of these different ways. And that way you can earn more yield just like I'm doing on all of my airdrops. So now for staking a greater variety of tokens and more tokens over time. Let's look at a variety of tokens. In this tutorial, I'm going to suggest potentially 3 more tokens that you can add. You can potentially add even more, but I'm going to look at 3 specifically. One of them is Juno. Juno seems to be getting attention for airdrops, more meme airdrops, but potentially airdrops. Quasar, which we are going to explore a little bit more later in the video, has already in its phase 1 airdrop, but they are doing phase 2 and phase 3 airdrops, and so staking Quasar could increase your chances. And then number 3 is Stars or Stargaze. They seem to be getting targeted for airdrops more frequently than not, and so it is another ecosystem worth staking their token. It's for swapping to them, we're going to swap in the Kelper wallet just like we've done previously, and then we are going to stake them to validators. I'm going to be swapping to about $100, $110 of each of these, and then staking them just for ease. I think $100 is usually a standard minimum. So keep your eye out for that. If you've got a little bit more capital, Luna, which I know is really weird, but Luna might be worth staking for the Prism airdrop. You'll see I've also switched and redelegated most of my tokens for Atom and Osmosis to Prism Delegator. They're running an airdrop, and if you stake with their delegator, you might also be eligible for the airdrop. That's what they're kind of insinuating, at least. So worth doing. Now that we've staked all of those additional tokens, there are a few different tokens that if you got even more capital or can slowly add to over time, you could include Axelar and Neutron are two that I would watch. But if you got the DYM or Dimension airdrop, stake that. I think it'll be like Celestia, it'll be a beast. You will get a lot more airdrops from it because of your DYM holdings. I might even scoop up some extra DYM, hoping that it performs like Celestia, but I'll see what the release price is. The other part of this strategy is about increasing your stake over time. Now, I'm not talking about actually adding any fresh capital. This is super important. I'm suggesting how can we increase our stake just through things that we're already doing. The reason why it's important to increase our stake over time is because projects will sometimes increase the allocation that they give you if they see that you're upping your stake every week or every 2 weeks during their snapshot period. This is good because they think you're a holder. And so it's super important to do as part of this strategy and a great way to increase your potential airdrop rewards. So in order to increase our stake without adding new capital, what we're going to do is we're going to claim our staking rewards once a week. However, not every week are we going to put it against our validators. We're going to use 1 week for a different strategy and 1 week for increasing our stake. I'm doing it this way because I want to try to keep this as capital efficient as possible. I'm conscious that airdrop farming and everything takes a lot of money, and so I'm trying to do this in a way without using too much of your capital while also farming as many airdrops as possible. So what I suggest doing is once a week, you claim your rewards and you do them into some of the other strategies that we'll talk about later on. The other week, so every other week, we are going to up our stake. So we're going to take those rewards that we claimed and restake them with our validators. This way, we're increasing our stake every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks, we are doing some of these different interactions that should help us boost our airdrops. We are getting the best of both worlds without needing new money. And I think that's a great part of this strategy and how we're going to move forward. So what you're going to do is you're going to, on the Kelper dashboard, you're going to click claim, and you're just going to click claim and stake all. It's really easy with the Kelper dashboard. There are also auto restakers out there, but I don't like them because we want to claim some of our rewards every week for other uses. Now on to part 2. So part 2 of the easy ways to increase our yield from airdrop farming in the Cosmos ecosystem is through the Injective ecosystem. I'm going to show you how to do one thing on the Cosmos ecosystem on Injective. The other thing that I think is really useful isn't out yet. It's a liquid staking platform called Hydro, and you can liquid stake your Injective with them. I think that's a great strategy. And so once that comes out on January 31st, I'll make a quick tutorial on how to do it. It's super simple. It's currently on testnet. They've just finished phase 1, but there's going to be many phases from there. What we're going to do is we're going to target Black Panther. There's also Helix app and Dojo Swap that we can also target, but we don't have a ton of money. I'll show you how to do each one, but fairly simple. With Black Panther, what we're going to do is we're going to go into one of their vaults and we're going to deposit some of the Injective that we've claimed and deposit that into the vault. That will earn yield and hopefully make us eligible for the airdrop. Now with Dojo Swap or with Helix app, it's either about doing swaps or depositing liquidity. With the fact that we did some swaps on Helix Swap before, what I'm going to suggest is deposit some liquidity on Dojo Swap as your alternative method. That way you've got some additional rewards. You're covering all your bases. What you can do is every 2 weeks when you've got those additional rewards, do one or the other. And that way you're spreading yourself out and you're accessing all of these ecosystems. If you've got a little bit of extra cash, then maybe do all 4 of them kind of with that seed cash rather than staking it, and then use your rewards to boost those positions every 2 weeks. Since we can't do Hydrofy in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to go to blackpanther.fi and we're going to click Volt. And then we're going to deposit some of our Injective into the Injective USD Vault. It's the one that goes on Helix app, and then you're going to select whatever you think is reasonable. In this case, I took 0.25 and then left the other 0.25 for what I'm going to do later on, as well as a little bit for gas. Then you're going to click deposit, and that's done. Now, since we did some swaps on Helix Swap in the first tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to go do some swaps on Dojo Swap and deposit some liquidity there. I don't have a ton of cash in this tutorial wallet, so it's not going to be an outstanding amount. You can do it with more. I actually ended up making a small mistake doing these swaps, but you'll see when we get there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to dojo.trading, and then you're going to click swap. You're going to swap some Injective for some USDT. I swapped for USDC. I've got to swap it to USDT after. And then I'm going to deposit liquidity. There's a little button, liquidity. And then going to deposit into Injective USDT liquidity. Once you've done that, it'll create the LP. And then it'll suggest, do you want to go farm this or earn some more on your yield? And click yes, and then deposit into the Injective USDT farm. I deposited all of it there, earn as much as I can, and earn some Dojo tokens at the same time. So number 3 on this list is farming in the Celestia ecosystem. There are a few other methods that I'm not covering here today, mainly looping within the Celestia system, just because right now Demex, which is a lending and borrowing platform, along with the trading and other swaps, their lending and borrowing software Nitron is tapped out for Milk TIA, which is what we're going to go farm now. And so we can't do that looping efficiently. Hopefully that'll open up in the future, so keep your eye out. I'll link it in the description, but it's capped out. If it ever opens up, I'll probably post about it in my Discord. That being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Milky Way Liquid Stake, our TIA. So this is just like Hydrofy liquid staking. It's like ETH liquid staking, and they're doing an airdrop with a point system, so I'm going to deposit some of my TIA into Milky Way. They're also running a Zeely quest. If you want to get involved in that, I would suggest farming their Zeely quest as well, since they're doing a big airdrop. Worthwhile farming those. I'm not going to deposit all of my TIA into Milk TIA, because I'm going to use some of that Milk TIA to then go do task number 4 on the Quasar blockchain. Task number 4, we're going to go to Quasar, and we're going to bridge our TIA onto Osmosis. The use of Osmosis is kind of our bridge here. Milky TIA is already on Osmosis, so it's just the TIA that we need to bridge over. And then we're going to deposit into Quasar, and then we're going to deposit it into the Milk TIA Volt. This way we're earning some additional yield and increasing our stake. Okay, so we've done 4 out of the 5 parts of this video now. The last way that we can potentially earn more airdrops is by providing liquidity on Osmosis. Osmosis, as the largest DEX in the Cosmos ecosystem, tends to receive incentives for liquidity providers. So by providing liquidity on Osmosis, we potentially can make ourselves eligible for airdrops. I'm going to provide liquidity on an Osmosis Atom pair. If you focus on kind of some main pairs, that's the best way to do it. I generally just go with the base settings. It's easier. I'm not an expert on liquidity farming, but I try to farm about $100, and that will hopefully make us eligible for more airdrops. Again, nothing is guaranteed. At least you're making fees, but I think that liquidity farming, and I've seen it in previous airdrops, it does help and can boost your position. So we're going to go on to Osmosis. We're going to click Pools. Then we're going to select the Osmosis Atom pair. Then we're going to click Create a Position, and then we're going to choose how much we want to deposit, and then we're going to click Create Position. Now that we've deposited into the Osmosis liquidity pool, we've completed all 5 of the different ways we were going to farm the Cosmos ecosystem for additional airdrops. That being said, there are probably more ways that are out there, including looping with Hydrofi and Demex, which will be coming out shortly, and a whole other slew of different farming methods that we can go on to earn even more yield. Today, we discussed 5 different ways you can earn more farming the Cosmos ecosystem airdrops. The first one was all about different tokens and increasing our stake. The second one was about the Injective ecosystem. The third one was about Celestia. The fourth one was about Quasar, and the 5th one was all about Osmosis liquidity pools. That being said, there are still plenty of different ways that we can earn more airdrops in 2024. I will probably be dropping a video on testnets soon so that we can start exploring testnets, a free way to earn more airdrops, although they tend to be a bit clunky. So if you want to learn how to make the most with your money in this 2024 crypto bull run, then follow along in our future videos so that you know how to make the most out of it. On top of that, if you haven't already checked out the step-by-step guide in the description, I suggest doing that. It provides links to everything. There's also going to be links to all of the websites that I used, and also to my Discord, where I will likely be dropping alpha before I have time to make a video about it. There's also a whole other community of great airdrop hunters there, so I really suggest checking it out. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. It's really appreciated. I'm Aussie, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you next time.